No. No. This can't be. No. Hey guys, it's Critical Fish and I'm back with another video today, and sadly we are talking about Concord. I've got my copy and my controller right here just to cry on as a pillow. But seriously, I want to start off by saying that the closure of Firewalk Studios under Sony sucks, no matter how you look at it. I read that over 200 people have lost their job, and if you've ever been laid off or fired, you know it sucks. I've been laid off before, and it's not fun. You lose your main source of income, you lose stability, and overall you just are fearful for what's to come. So I want to just apologize to all the developers that got the news today, and I really hope that you find work in this crazy gaming industry. However, we cannot ignore the fact that this is a direct result of the upper management of Sony. Back in 2020, 2021, right as the PS5 era was really starting to go, all these big decisions were being made. They could see the future of, the next 2 to 3 years of PlayStation. Demon Souls, Sackboy, God of War, Horizon. They knew they were launching the PSVR 2. They knew that they were going to be growing in the PC space, but they didn't know how else to grow. They didn't have many IPs. Besides the big heavy hitters that they wanted to continue using. And they went with the idea of, hey, let's throw some money at live service games. And if you're a big publisher, I understand the idea. A live service game, if it pops off, can be a major success. But it's not just a one-time success. You have to keep feeding that beast. You have to continue how it goes forward. You have to listen to player feedback. You have to have people that know the game, developers that know the game from the in and out. They can cater to the audience. They can shift things on the fly. But you still have to plan, 1 year ahead, 2 years ahead, 3 years ahead. What's the story look like? All these different factors. And so overall, my point is that they went with the live service game. They are trying to do a few different live service games. This one was a major failure. I read that apparently the project and the studio costed over $400 million. You're kidding me, right? $400 million? Jesus, man. Where did that money even go? So, the idea of live service has really failed so far with Sony. If you don't know, they've also canceled other game projects behind the scenes. Naughty Dog, who's the developer of the Uncharted series, and Last of Us, they were working on a Last of Us Factions multiplayer game. It was in the works for like 2 years or 3 years. It was promised when you purchased The Last of Us Part 2 back in 2020. And they canceled that. That's gone. They're not doing that anymore. And Insomniac, who made the Spider-Man games, was also working on a Spider-Man multiplayer project. That was also canned. And now the only one that has come out that, not gonna lie, nobody was interested in, it flopped hard. So let's get into the game itself, because I never played it, but I bought the physical copy when I learned it was going to the grave. And I'm kind of glad I did. Now I've got this relic. So Concord itself, obviously live service, hero shooter, 5 versus 5, and it takes place in like, you know, a space sci-fi setting. All the characters are, you know, quirky and fun, and they just kind of look boring, if I'm being honest. They didn't look like fun to play as. A lot of the mechanics also looked stolen. Many developers came from Bungie, and they worked on Destiny, so a lot of the movesets of the characters, like if you were dodging, looked like you were dodging as a warlock in Destiny, or throwing a grenade. It looked exactly like it does in Destiny. And even parts of the gunplay or character abilities just straight up ripped out of Destiny. And that's just one example. The other obvious comparison is Overwatch. It just looks like an inferior version of Overwatch. And yeah, the combination of that just doesn't add up that great. Maybe if you're an old fart sitting in an executive chair and you're hearing developers say, oh, this is going to be the next Destiny, the next Overwatch. You know, maybe you start to go, huh, you know, this concept sounds pretty cool, man. You know, I like space. Space is cool, and I like microtransactions, so let's get a battle pass in there. Let's ship it out, all right? I also read that there was a lack of feedback or criticism towards many aspects of the game, whether it was the graphics or the gameplay or how the game would be released. If you didn't know, this is a $40 release. That's probably the biggest reason why it flopped. The game costed $40 when its competitors were free to play. Man. And even when it was free, during the public beta and the private beta, there were close to no players, man. There was nobody wanted to even try it. The only people who were streaming it were sponsored. So they were getting paid to play the game and invite viewers into their games. They couldn't even load into the games half the time. So overall, just a huge misstep on the player base. And so just a funny story for you. I was traveling with friends across the world when Concord was fully revealed to the public during the summer state of play. And we took some time out of our trip to watch this state of play to see what was in it. And Concord filled up 15 minutes of that show. I took a shower, I brushed my teeth. I wasn't watching it. I did not care after 2 minutes of seeing what it was. Oh, a live service hero shooter that looks like a knockoff of Guardians of the Galaxy. Nope, I'm all set. And I went and did my other things. You know, I had stuff to do. Man. I'm not going to watch Concord. So overall, just let this be a lesson, Sony. I'm sure you kind of figured that out already, that this is a big lesson. But the majority of your player base is now young adults. They're interested in your heavy hitter IPs. And they want you to invest in more studios and more games and more IPs or old IPs that are fun, single player, they can be multiplayer, experiences that are just good and stand the test of time. You know, I hold a lot of respect for a lot of these games. But when I see another game like Concord, I am going to be snoring. I'm not going to play it, all right? I'm not even buying PS Plus for it. No, sir. So that's what happened today, guys. Concord's studio, Firewalk, has shut down. What are your thoughts? Are you sad that Concord is shut down? Let me know in the comments. I'm going to be crying myself to sleep tonight, and I'm going to need to take a couple days off because, man, this is just an emotional blow.